Welcome back. Welcome back to another episode, Great Perspective, where we talk sports, politics, family, finances, everything in between. Want to thank y'all for joining us. If you catch this, please support the channel. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. And for those that have subscribed, we thank you. And hey, it's Super Bowl week, man. Super Bowl week.
Yes, yeah. And
The Seattle
the
Seahawks up in
Seattle Seahawks is a big favorite.
the New
They,
England.
they're talking about New England got to the Super Bowl with a handicap pathway. They're saying they played the Broncos without a quarterback in an ice storm, and they
Mm-hmm.
barely won that game. Then they played a Houston team who was missing so many players that they might as well play the second string. So they saying that New England got a easy pathway, but Seattle is for real. So everybody got them as the favorites. And to the sports betting people out of there, the fantasy people, I give you my top 5 picks for the Super Bowl is to take both kickers over the 1.5 extra points. Take Donald to pass for over 200 yards and take Diggs to get over 40 yards receiving.
Oh yeah, that's definitely he getting that.
Other than that, it's still a Super Bowl. It's still gonna be a game, and I don't think New England gonna win, but I think they'll make it interesting. It's not gonna be a lopsided game.
Nah, I actually thinking and hoping for a high scoring game
Yeah.
because you can say their path to the Super Bowl wasn't as strong as Seattle, but New England have proven themselves throughout the season. And I mean, they were the top team in the AFC. And Drake May proved himself that he's ready to, be the next one. And he playing, he balling. So I think it's gonna be a high scoring game. Um, I think it's gonna be a 32-28 type of game. 32-28. That's what I'm looking at right now. With Seattle winning. So I look forward to it, man. Super Bowl always a good time.
I mean, I can see that because unlike San Francisco, who was missing half of their receiving core, the Rams showed you that you can score on that Seattle defense.
Yeah. Yeah.
The Rams showed you that really they could have won that game if it wasn't before that muff fumble by special teams. They would have won that game. So that defense can be scored on because Stafford went up and down the field on them.
Yeah, both teams got a good defense. So I mean, like I said, it ain't gonna. I don't see no lopsided where it's 30-14 type of game. No, I think it's gonna be close. I'm hoping that the Super Bowl is like the NFC Championship game. Like it went down to the wire. Or like how when the Rams played
Seattle.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
The wire.
Yeah, they played. Yeah, you know what I'm saying. The NFC Championship game, or like when the Rams played the Panthers, the game went down to the last 2 minutes. You know what I'm saying? That's exciting to me because um, outside of the referees, they can get involved and then just change the whole thing. But the teams got to, really, really play and step it up on both sides of the ball because the game is so close and the time is running out. You know what I'm saying? So you got to step up because time is running out. Time is against you. It's less, what, 3 minutes in the game, and the score is with one score. So your defense got to step up. Your offense step up. That's a football game.
Yeah.
A good football game. I'll say it like that. Because a blowout is just boring to watch. But I don't think it'll be that because both teams got a defense, both teams got an offense, both teams got a quarterback. So I look forward to a good Super Bowl.
I only have one problem with the Super Bowl this year. Well, not a problem, one issue, and that is who they chose to do the halftime show. Now, mind you, I have nothing against Hispanics. I have nothing against anybody. But I just think that was not a good choice for the Super Bowl because half of America don't even know who this guy is. He's real popular in the Hispanic community. That's just like, and I would say the same thing if they tried to put an African or a Jamaican to do the halftime show that half of the country don't know. When you're dealing with the Super Bowl, you're supposed to have the top, the Jay-Z, the Lil Wayne, the Justin Timberlakes, the Celine Dion. You remember that one of my favorites was the one when they had Dre, and he brought out 50 and Eminem, and then they had Beyonce, they had Janet Jackson. The Super Bowl for the past 30 years had world phenom people. Now it's like you taking a step back.
I'll say this. Most people he may not be a household name, but he's real big in not just the Hispanic community, but he's real big in pop culture. Bad Bunny is real big.
I get that. But he's not like Daddy Yankee. Or what's that girl that looked like Beyonce? I forgot her name. But I'm just saying, when you're dealing with the Super Bowl, they could have got a country singer. They could have got Garth Brooks. You know what I'm saying? Somebody that everybody knows. It's like because of the atmosphere, the NFL is trying too hard to cater. But that's a whole nother topic. But other than that,
when the name first dropped, some people made that claim. I heard some content creators say that I've seen that on social media that it could have been a political move because the timing of
the decision.
Yeah, having a Hispanic artist
that nobody knows.
No, people know him. He's big. Bad Bunny is a big artist.
He's big amongst his. He's not like Daddy Yankee. Or what's that girl?
Got to get outside.
Shaina. What's her name? Shaina. You know what I'm talking about?
No, what are you talking about?
The Spanish girl, Serena, got the curly hair. Well, anyway, he's not like daddy. Somebody everybody knows. He's just.
You got to get outside of the realm of hip hop. So you got to think since Jay-Z took over um, control of the Super Bowl halftime show, every artist, you know, the only outside of hip hop artist that was in the Super Bowl was The Weeknd. Every artist outside of that was either hip hop or R&B. You know, he started out, of course, with his wife, and she did a good job. I mean, it was, you know, she had the Black Panther team, and you know,
Missy Elliott.
yeah, you know, so you know, with Drake and Dre and
I like last year's with Kendrick Lamar.
but yeah, you got to think the Super Bowl is the most watched outside of the World Cup. The Super Bowl is the biggest, you know, the largest, the most watched sports show in the world is watched. It's worldwide.
But I'm gonna tell you, I'm gonna give you the steak and the potatoes. Blacks are no longer the biggest minority in the United States.
Mm-hmm.
Hispanics are.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to cater to that audience in some way, form, or fashion. Even though that's just like you might have some Hispanics that say, "Well, I didn't know who the Weekend, not the Weekend, who Kendrick Lamar was," but they watched the halftime show. Like, I don't know who this guy is they gonna have, you know, but everything dealing with money is dealing with geographic. We are no longer the biggest minority. So this is not going to stop here. It's going to be in other shells, like on the level of the people who from the hood or been around the hood or been to the hood or whatever. In the 90s and the 2000s, you go into your gas station, your Arab store, all the beer will cater to blacks. Old English, Bull, St. Eyes. Now you go into those same convenience stores, you see Mandela, you see beers you never, but they know who them beers are. You can't even go into a store right now in Charleston and buy a Bud Ice, Old English. I'm talking about the hood stores. They are catering to the new big minority, and that's just a small version of it. The Super Bowl's letting you know it's getting bigger. But
I'll say that speaking on that, I just think that I understand the move. It could be a political move, um, based on everything that's going on, especially with ICE and immigration and all that. I could see, but I thought when I first heard it, I thought he had to do that because of not because of the political, but because it was time for a different artist. Because for the last 4 or 5 Super Bowls, outside of the Weekend, every artist was R&B or a rapper. So you got to go outside.
why you think they didn't go to rock and roll
Because
or country music?
you got to think how Jay-Z think. Think about the Jay-Z. Think about his music, right? So to understand his kind of mindset when it comes to stuff like this, think about his song with him and that last album he had, 4040. Uh, the song he had with him and Kanye West, Paris. Dun, 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 dun. I mean, it was from the time that song came on. Um, it was just a hit. But think about the music and the production of that song, how different it was. Um, that's how he thinks outside the box. So he couldn't go with Garth Brooks because they already did that. They already did rock and roll. They already did, um, you know, Green Day kind of, pop rock kind of group. So I think with the times, with Hispanics, yeah, it could be because Hispanics are a large group. I think at a Super Bowl coming soon, we're gonna see an Afrobeats artist. I think we're gonna see another Hispanic or Latino artist. I think in the near future we're gonna see an Indian artist that's real big.
But if that's the case, you are catering to the politics. Now,
No,
when you dealing with soccer or Major League Baseball, Hispanics is 20%. In the NFL, Hispanics is 1%.
yeah, but
Black,
you can't go by the players who play in the game. You
that's
gotta
who game it is.
no. You gotta go by the audience. The largest, and you're a Cowboy fan. The largest one of y'all, some of the largest Cowboy fan base is in Mexico City. That's why they play in Mexico. Come to Dallas. Come to Dallas. And I've worked that as a security. That's how I know. Come to Dallas and go to a Cowboys game, and I guarantee you, 30 to 40% of the fans are Mexican. I promise you. The largest Cowboys, the Steelers, uh, Cowboys and Steelers, their largest fan base are Hispanics. But they're not just to that area, but it's just I think he had to go with a different artist, and get a big name, a Grammy type name, because he did. I think he did just win a Grammy. Um, yeah, he did win a Grammy. Bad Bunny did win a Grammy. So he had to go with a Grammy type artist. He might not be known in the hood, but in pop culture across America, he's known. That's why when they said the name, a lot of people, they knew who he was. You might not know because you a Jay-Z, you a Young Jeezy, Bootsy, UGK dude. You know what I'm saying? But somebody like me that listen to everything from Burna Boy to just everything. So I knew who he was because he's a huge artist. He's not a Snoop Dogg household name type of artist, but he's a huge artist. But they had to do that because, like I said, you're not catering to. Think about middle white America in West Virginia and Idaho, and you got Kendrick Lamar. They don't want to see that. You know what I'm saying? Hey, dang, you had Kendrick Lamar this year. Last year you just had Dre with Snoop and all them up there. So when are you gonna have that's because Jay-Z in charge of it. So it's gonna be nothing but rap and hip hop and R&B forever. And you know what I'm saying? You gotta cater to the audience. You gotta think who watch sports, football, NFL, American football. Everybody, black, white, Hispanic, Asian, Mexico, Africa, Germany, London. They play games every year in London. Mexico City, Toronto, and all that. You know what I'm saying? So they had to do it. I understand the move. I think it was both though. I think it was political because of the whole immigration thing going on, and then I think at the same time he had to choose a different artist because of what's going on. Because of the last four. Think about the last. I ain't got my computer up. I would love to know who was the last.
I understand it's been a lot of hip hop, and even though the Weeknd was there, he's considered hip hop in some people's eyes, or
Yeah,
hip hop R&B artist.
yeah. I don't know.
But to switch notes, we spoke about last week about Belichick being denied to be a first ballot Hall of Famer.
Mm-hmm.
Well, now it's been discovered that Robert Kraft has also been denied a first ballot Hall of Famer. And I believe that that's a bigger disgrace than Bill Belichick. And I'm going to tell you why. Without Tom Brady, Belichick is like 90-something to 60-something games. Basically, he got a losing record his coaching career without Tom Brady. Robert Kraft been to the Super Bowl twice as an owner before Tom Brady. And now I'm finna go again. Because remember, Robert Kraft went to the Super Bowl with Bill Parcells, Drew Bledsoe, and Terry Glenn back in those. Matter of fact, they lost against the Packers. That's when Green Bay won their Super Bowl with Brett Favre. And now Robert Kraft, the owner, he going back to the Super Bowl without Tom Brady again. So Robert Kraft is solidified before Tom Brady and after. So you telling me what owner resume you can give me better than Robert Kraft?
I think what I had said last week, or when we talked about it before, I think he's being punished. They both being punished for the Inflategate and the when they did the Spygate. That's what they called it. Inflategate and Spygate. And because if it was just the coach and not the owner, or the owner not the coach, okay, it's based on votes. But for both of them to be on the same team and not make first ballot Hall of Fame, it's personal.
Now let me ask you this question. A lot of content creators, sportscasters, and news broadcasters are repeating the same quote. If you say that is the narrative, then you telling me that next year these same voters gonna look Tom Brady in the eye and tell him he's not a first ballot Hall of Famer?
No, because that's going to be Tom Brady's the golden boy. And like I said before, Tom Brady is the GOAT when it comes to quarterbacks. And you got to look at, because he did a lot with less. He never had, if you look at the Cowboys, if you take Tom Brady on the Cowboys, the talent they've had over the last 3 or 4 years, New England win the Super Bowl every year. Every year.
But what I'm saying is, if you telling me the Flakegate and Spygate is what kept them out,
but they're not going to do that Tom Brady because the media are the voters. They're not going to. First of all, they're not going to vote against Tom Brady because football world and the media that can kill or uplift a career when it comes to sports, they love Tom Brady. And he's working as a commentator, so he's one of their colleagues. They're not going to not vote him. I think this is an NFL thing. They show the message. They understand it. They might not publicly say it, but they understand it. But on the back end, all three of them enter the Hall of Fame together. And that's going to be the biggest spectacle.
Yep, but now, if what you say is true, they do enter Tom Brady as a first ballot, the NFL going to make a big thing out of it and have Robert Kraft, Belichick, Tom Brady. You know, Brady already got a statue. All on stage. Yeah, it's going to be a spectacle.
Yeah, that's what's going to happen next year before Super Bowl 61. All of them be in the Hall of Fame together.
Like what happened with Troy Aikman and Emmett.
Mm-hmm. It'll be a bigger media, more ratings, more.
It'll be a bigger story. Mm-hmm. But I would thank everybody for watching. We got a big show coming up after the Super Bowl. But like we always say, don't forget to hit that like button, that subscribe button, and that share button. But we about to run out of time, but it's that time of the show where we get into politics or as such. And I wanted to ask a question. This is dealing with the millennials, this new generation. You know, they grew up in the time of loving hip hop and having high expectations. Do you believe the women of today, you know, the millennials, the high schoolers, the college, have outrageous expectations? Or when it comes to a significant other, or a man and so forth?
Do I believe the women of today have unrealistic expectations?
Yeah, not the women, but the millennials.
Like the younger generation, say like 21, 30.
Yeah, somewhere, from 20 to 30.
20 to 30, yeah. Well, but I won't even go that. Yeah, I would go 20 to 50. No, really, realistically, from everything I've seen as far as in my personal life, people I know, what I've seen on social media, different podcasts, things I've read, television shows, and so forth. Looking at everything, TikTok, Instagram, whatever, Facebook, YouTube, content creators. It's really that question when it comes to women and dating.
Paul, I don't mean to interrupt you, but I don't want to get it construed. We having something going wrong with the audio a little bit. But I'm not, when I say unrealistic expectations, I'm not talking about that woman who has her stuff together and she expecting her partner to be on the same mindset as her. I can respect that. I'm talking about the ones that's working at Chick-fil-A working at Wendy's, but looking for a Chase CEO.
I think that question is not a millennial or a Gen Z question. I think it's a generational question. It's a societal question. It's a question for women that are 25 to 45. No, 25 to 55. And in some cases, you can go even older than that because in some cases you can't even tell who's older and younger as far as behavior. But the expectations, women have these standards now. Some of the standards are unrealistic when you think about, and they don't look at it this way, but they raise their daughters to think this way, but nobody's telling us, asking the sons, is this too much pressure? That I got to be 6 feet, I gotta make high six figures or a millionaire. I got to be able to, at the time that I meet you, I got to have a house. I got to be well traveled, meaning I done traveled the world. I got to have a certain job that's sexy to you. You know what I'm saying? Me being a truck driver ain't sexy to you. But if I say I'm a real estate investor, that's sexy to you because you're thinking money. You get what I'm saying? Or that's a sexy title. You're thinking of the title, but you're also thinking of the money, the dollar amount that goes with that title. And then everybody want to live like a celebrity nowadays. Everybody want to live like Jay-Z and Beyonce. And it's unrealistic because the average man is 5'7", 5'8". So you're not gonna find if you go in the mall right now and walk around, go to a concert or go into Costco's or something. The average man ain't two. You get what I'm saying? So that expectations because the averages don't pan out. Then you got to think about, okay, you want a man with all this money. The average American, man or woman, only 15 to 20%, and this is based on numbers, based on the labor statistics, based on IRS, based on the government's data. Only 15 to 20% of Americans make over $100,000 a year. So so you basically, all these women are fighting for the same. And then when you break that 15, 20% down by gender, you talking 90% of the women are trying to date the same pool of about 10% of men. You get what I'm saying? And then that 10%, you want him to be X, Y, Z, and you can have standards. Everybody got standards. Some like a certain type of woman. Some men like a certain race of woman. Some men like short hair. Some men like long hair. Some men like big breasts. Some men like big thighs. You know what I'm saying? And it's cool. Some women they don't mind dating a short guy. But they never ask the question as we're raising our sons. And think about our sons that are in high school right now. And these girls are starting to talk like this, right? Even in high school. Is it too much pressure on him? Is it too much pressure on a man? But see, they would say, because I've heard this already, that men need to step up.
Yeah.
And when you challenge them and you say anything, of course, don't say, especially black men, because they never it's the white man. And I hate to bring race into it, but that's just facts. You sassy, you gay, or whatever. So or I ain't gonna get into that, but because you say, well, man's supposed to be this way. Women, let us guide you and lead and all the submission and all that. And they say, well, you ain't the type of man. You got to be that type of man that makes a woman submit. And these men today, because I hear this all the time. on some of these podcasts. So I think there is nothing wrong with standards, but the standards of what they want are unrealistic when you match the data to what they want. You know,
Now, the reason I ask that question, because I see a lot of my neighborhood and areas, and just because right now you may work at Wendy's, you can still have expectations. I want a man that has a vision of what he want to do tomorrow. I want a man that's XYZ, XYZ. But when you set expectations of I want a superhero, and then you get an average human, the whole relationship is going to be lopsided because you're going to be comparing him to such and such, and the Joneses. Mm-hmm. So it's he walking into a losing battle off the top because your expectations was unrealistic to begin with.
You know, now, that's the reason, but it's always even when you look at our grandparents, and that's why, not in all cases, but in most cases, that's why Papa our grandfather was the first to go. In most cases, not all cases, because we saw that even in our own family, but in most cases, the man is always the first to die because he works himself to death.
Yeah.
But now he was working just to provide, and our grandmothers were happy with that. He got up, went to work, came home. If the house was broke, he fixed the house. The car was broke, he fixed the car. Now, we have technology. I don't have to fix anything. I just pay somebody to do it if I don't want to do it. You know what I'm saying? But now it's these expectations that are added on to that. Now I have to work and pay for the house. I got to work and fix the house when it's broke. I have to work.
Go on a trip.
Hold up. I got to work and take you to Dubai. I got to work and pay for your 360 BBL. I got to and buy you that $5,000 bag. I got to work and hair, nails, and all this other stuff, and everything that you want, and shopping and credit cards and all that. I gotta work and do all that.
But and go to what's that restaurant? Roof Chris. When we ain't on vacation, we gotta be eating at Roof Chris.
Because Applebee's
Applebee's and Red Lobster ain't on.
And a woman will listen to this conversation and say, if you're too broke, then move to the side. They'll say that they don't need a man. And that's another topic of conversation, especially with the Black community, because they don't realize where that thinking came from, how that thinking is used to break up the Black family and have us fighting each other. But that's a different topic. But women say that, and they never think about, everything is always about girl magic, Black girl magic, girl power, this and that. But what about our boys? What about those, like I go back to those young men, those young boys that are
pressure.
Juniors and seniors in high school or freshmen in college. And what are we saying to them? That I have to strive. If I want a wife, I can't just financially I go out and work hard and get a career or a job that's respectable, because, you could be a welder, a plumber, and get a job, or you could go work at GM. That's what used to be that used to be good enough, just getting a job at GM.
Yeah.
But now I got to go get a job at GM. I gotta drive Uber. I gotta be a podcast content creator. I gotta go cut grass. I gotta go be a motivational speaker. I gotta go start a nonprofit over here. You know what I'm saying? You just you putting the pressure because I have sons and daughters. And I tell my daughters, I say, yes, you want your own when you meet a man. So it's never asked, what are you bringing to the table? Because you already have something that you've done and have accomplished. So when he see you, he see value. But I tell him at the same time, and I know this is not popular in today's society, but as a woman, you must have those wife like qualities. You have to be able to clean a house. You have to be able to cook a meal. Everything can't be ordered out. Or
Roof Chris every night.
yeah, and then if you go, even people, even billionaires, like
Eat out every night.
take Shaq. Shaq he loved McDonald's. You know, big multi-hundred, hundred millionaire plus guys still eat at McDonald's and eat Pizza Hut. So you telling me if a guy worth $300-400 million or whatever, they eating that, but you saying you can't? It's just unrealistic, and I just think it's sad because of the pressure we're putting on our sons. Our girls, yeah, you teach them to get out and work and get your own because that way you're not handicapped if the relationship don't work. Which we want our marriages because that's what we need in every community, but especially in the Black community because we got a 70% single mother rate. We need more marriages. So if the relationship don't work though, at least you have skills and you're not handicapped because you was just totally dependent on him. But at the same time, you shouldn't have these expectations where you want him to be Superman. The late Pastor Darby, the late Stephen Darby, Pastor Stephen Darby, he had a video called Superman. He talked about this very thing. He said a lot of women be looking for Superman, and Clark Kent is standing right there, and he got all the qualities of Superman, but you overlook him because you want to do with the cake.
Yep. But I hope y'all enjoyed our conversation. If you have any comments, we love to hear from you. That's why the floor is always open. So because it's each one teach one, everybody can learn from everybody. And we went over no time zone, but we're gonna have a big show right after the Super Bowl, preferably Monday night. And we're gonna be back with another hot topic. And Chico, you got any last word?
That's it. Peace.
Great.